Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilui Nishmas Mordechai. Meaningful fast, everybody. Bar Chasim Toiva. Agud Geben Shior. Hope you all had a beautiful davening. Nachman, Reb Nachman, you had a good davening?
Yeah.
In the Chazandach, no?
Yeah.
Yeshiva.
Yeah.
What year is this?
8.
Wow. Time flies. I remember we used to sit together. Wow, 8 years. All right. Yishkoyach to all those who davened for me, and many did. It's beautiful. I got some emails here even. From Matikas. Dear Eli, I davened for you and your mishpucha. Also had you in mind during Tekiyas. That's the new one. During Tekiyas. Gimar Chasim Toiva Ba'ahava Matis. Now, unrelated, I don't think they knew about each other's email. Gershon Rose, how MDYer changed our lives. Dear Eli Shlita, again, the one who wrote the first email, Mati Kos. I want to take a moment to share something with you. This is from Gershi Rose. A bit of a reflection on how things have changed in our household since I keep bumping into Mati Kos on the way to and from shul. It feels like every time I come out of shul, go into shul, step out for a walk, or even just leave my street, I somehow run into Mati Kos. And although he modestly claims his life hasn't changed, I can assure you our life certainly has. Take, for instance, the focus required just to manage to learn 2 blot before Rosh Hashana and 2 after Havdalah to keep up with the daf. This has revolutionized how we schedule our time, let alone our yontif. It's as if we're counting every step and every daf at this point. Then the real epiphany came at the yontif table when my 14-year-old proudly told me he had davened for Eliyahu ben Rus. This moved me. A 14-year-old. Listen to those davenings. Eliyahu ben Rus. That's when it hit me. This new focus has truly seeped into every part of our lives. To add to the story, my 10-year-old declared that his tablet needed resetting because his 1.5 speed wasn't working. Why is it so important? Because a 10-year-old, because he's celebrating his first ever streak of 100 consecutive dafim. If that's not a life changer, I don't know what is. My 12-year-old, in his own intellectual way, suggests that the word kuchen might come from the word coffin. Now I'll admit, that one gave me pause. And finally, my 16-year-old debating the mathematical angles of the corner of the kuchen. This is what MDYer has brought to us. When you're hearing these kinds of insights around the yontif table, you can't help but think, maybe that's why I keep running to Rabbi Mati Kos so often. Our lives have changed, and how. I thought you'd appreciate hearing how much of an impact this whole process has had on us, even if Rabbi Kos would insist he's just going about his business as usual. I think Mati agrees to this. I'm just speaking for him. Omar Loch Mati, if he was here, he'd probably say, he thought I'm talking about like a change, like there's a certain glow that comes out of your forehead. You start wearing a streimel, you start growing long payas. I'm talking about the small things like standing up during Chazar Shashatz, a small thing. Wishing you all the best and looking forward to many more life-changing encounters. Warm regards, Gemar Chasima Toiva, Gershi Rose. This individual says that he was a 3-day yontif in Uman, a tremendous ruchnistic atmosphere, but he felt a tremendous choser gadol, a loss without the shear of me. Lechen, right away after Matzah Yontif, he sat down with the Yishuv Adas right before they left Uman, which is going to be a very, very difficult and hard trip. We all know they had to sit there on the border for many, many hours. We also went through it a little bit when we went into Belarus. It was geschmack. So he says, your shear, and I have answer for it because Dr. Factor is going to help us out on this one. Your shear has to be by the tzion of Reb Nachman for the good of tens of thousands of Breslov Hasidim from all over the world who haven't zchusim, they weren't zchusim to see part of this shear. One shear in Uman will bring a tremendous persona. There's a better word maybe, but it's good marketing.
PR.
Yeah, PR. Me'et Tamidcha Avrohom Chazin.
Big artist.
Yeah?
That's the one I know.
Okay, here you can see his face or his. Yitzi wishing us, Shana, reminding us Oh, so I liked his email address. I took part of it out. FDNY EMS, another fire department, New York EMS. He says that there's a blackout. Daf Yomi during a blackout on Motzei Shabbos. He's learning the daf during the blackout. And reminding us who's in charge, no pun intended. Good afternoon, good Erev Yontif. Thank you very much for going out of your way to help out the klal. If it's possible to do for Sukkot both first days and second days also, that would be great. Wow, so we're doing this again? No, but here in Israel we don't have 3 days. We have to figure out. Be'ezer Hashem, whatever it takes. May you have a year filled with bracha, gesund nachas, v'kol tov, Moshe, Michael. Now, I do want to say Yishkoyach because I saw Dave Sharfman running to the booth because Avremi was a little late. And I know that Dave was here till, I don't know, close to 1 in the morning. Well, it was closer to 1 than to 12. We did 3 shiurim yesterday, and here he was. I have to give him a public Yishkoyach for doing 3 shiurim in a row. And here he is in the morning. Somebody just sent me this video. I just saw it this morning. It's in Hebrew, but I discussed it in the shir about Daf Kuf Aleph, about Sanhedrin. Here it is a little bit in more detail.
זו מערת קבורה עתיקה מימי בית שני, שנקראת מערת הסנהדרין, ונמצאת בשכונת סנהדריה בירושלים.
He says you can see by the core over the door that's an important place.
מפוארת וחשובה, שקברו בה אנשים חשובים. המערה בנויה כפי שמתואר במשנה ובגמור ובמובס.
Like in the Mishnah.
אבל המערה הזאת נבנתה בפנים יותר מהצורה המינימלית המתוארת במשנה ובגמרא, כפי
שהם מיד.
צורת הקבורה היא כוכים חצובים בסלע, ניתן לראות, כמו שמתואר,
Don't pay attention to the potato chip bag that somebody left over there.
מרוחב אדם, הגובה שלו מעט יותר מהרוחב, והאורך, העומק, באזור 2 מטר, כ-400 בערך. הסלע כאן הוא סלע קשה מאוד, וההבדלים בין כוך לכוך...
That's why it's very very strong stone, so you don't need an amma between each chamber.
הכל לפי הסלע. הקברים כאן הם בשתי שורות, זו על גב זו.
It's two floors, we said it's okay.
ישנה מערה אחת בלבד. ובצידי הפתח,
this is what I want to show you.
נוספים קטנטנים.
In the corner, you go into the corner, you crawl to the corner.
לקבורת נפלים,
And that's for the stillborns, right here. The little tiny chambers for stillborns. That's the Gemara spoke also, but it's Dadim.
זעירים לקבורת נפלים. בחדר זה, הקברים חפורים רק פה בקיר השמאלי, קיר אחד בלבד של המערה, כי בשאר הצדדים פשוט קיימים פתחים לחדרים נוספים. אני ספרתי כ4 חדרים נוספים.
These are the other Ma'aras that come off, mamish like in the picture of the Rashbam, 4 different caves.
כאשר בזוויות מרחיקים מעט בין הכוכים בכיוונים השונים. עד כאן, אני מקווה ש...
Okay. Rabbi said here, this also moved me. Somebody took a picture of this. A yeshiva, I guess in Baltimore, yeshivas are Torah. The tefillas are dedicated l'schus akiva simcha ben fega. That's my son. Elio ben Ros b'chol milei demetav. So somebody, yishkoyach to whoever you are, who not only did he daven, but he also dedicated that day. Unbelievable. I didn't read about him. L'schus, refuah, parnasa, psuras toivas, shalom, simcha, mazel, zivugim, brocha, v'atzlacha. I know this is very bad. Lo nol chol achinu v'achisenu b'Yisrael. Shkoyach, wherever you are. And the Koil of the Month, sponsored by Binyomin Rosenfeld for Hatzlach in Business, Mesechta, sponsored for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages, Parnas HaChodesh, Lilui Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe, Lilui Nishmas Chaybas Yosef, Parnas HaChodesh, Binyomin Rosenfeld, for the zchusim that come from supporting limud HaTorah, and there are many zchusim that come from supporting limud HaTorah. The Parnas Shavua official Mitzvah Motivators, Lilui Nishmas, Moshe Shmuel ben Yitzchak, Meir, father of MDYer, Menashe, Blaustien from LA, and for Shlema, Tinoik ben Alta Nechama. Parnas Hayoim, Reuven Iris Herssein, in loving memory of my father-in-law, Shmuel ben Yaakov, Sam. And Parnas Hayoim, Mordechai Sapoznick, Lzaicher Nishmas, his great-grandfather, Horav Elchonon Teitz, Yitzchak Horav Elchonon Zev, Binyomin Avrohom Yaakov, Yitzchak means Shlomo have an Aliyah. P.S. Mazel Tov to my sister, Rochel Leah, and my brother-in-law, Ashi Scharf, on the birth of a baby boy on the first day of Rosh Hashana. Mazel Tov. The heart of the month for zchus for Rebelli and the whole MDYer staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. We're starting a brand new Perek Beis Kur. I don't know if I said the story. I just remembered. So I won't say his name. I was in an airport on the way back to Eretz Yisrael, and a Rosh Yeshiva came over to me, and he said, Shalom Aleichem, and I said, oh, I gave him a little, I asked him a shayla I had about his yeshiva. I said, how come you didn't let a certain bacher learn Daf Yomi? This boy really, really wanted to learn Daf Yomi, and he was hiding it, and at the end, the boy's not in a good place right now. He's not in yeshiva right now. So he says, I know exactly what boy you're talking about. You're talking about this and this boy. I was against doing that to him. I myself learned Daf Yomi, and there's a certain mashgiach that didn't allow it. And we went through it a little bit. He says, but you should know, I will be doing your shir for Perek Beis Kur. So here we are. Now, you don't really need to know all this stuff. We said a base score is like 3 football fields. Oh, Sunday, 3 football fields. I know a guy in Chicago. I did not prepare this. A relative of mine. He would sit every Sunday, and he had a giant screen, giant. And around all the screens, he had many giant screens. He had all 16 games. How many games are on a Sunday? I don't even know. Something like that. No,
not all the same time.
Do not know. Watching all the games, and all his chaverim came, and they were having geschmack. And one day, he took all his TVs, threw them in the garbage. And today, he learns at least 7 daf a day. He does a siyum shas every year. He's a masmid, a tremendous masmid. He sits and learns. Everybody could change. Everybody has the... Tell you, you sit there for years like that. By the way, the chassan is here. He's going to be at your chasana. So you say hello to him. What? I'll tell you later. Shkoyach for the invitation, the filers and the deslers making a chasana. Okay. So, again, to go through this, does anybody remember Kaskelov? Yigoidu? A kur. How many saw are in a kur? So if you look, a kur, Eifa, this is more for food, but there's 10 Eifa in a kur, and there's 3 saw in Eifa. So it's 30. 10, 3 times 10. There's 30 saw in a kur, okay? Maybe it looks something like this. In one kur, there's 30 boxes. You don't have to remember it if you don't want to. Maybe it's kedai to remember 30 saw in a kur. So, if a person tells his friend, I'm selling you a base kur offer. 2 of these boxes, 2 boxes, we know how large they are. In the Beis HaMikdash, they had, the Azara is 2 boxes. 50 by 100. So 30 boxes is 75,000 square amma. Okay, that's how large a base kur is. Approximately 5 acres today, or 3 football fields. Any way you want to look at it, it's a very large area. Now, obviously, if I'm going to buy a field from somebody, I know it's not perfectly lasered, smooth. There's going to be some stones. There's going to be some water. There's going to be some holes in the ground. How much and where? From the fact, the Rishbam explains, the person said, Beis kur offer. You don't say Beis kur, offer, dirt. I'm telling you dirt. So it has to be something like, in the picture, like nice brown dirt, so I could plant some corn. If there were ditches that were 10 tfachim deep, if there were stones, that were boulders, that were 10 tfachim tall, you can't plant on these things. Einam nimdodim ima. So they're not part of the 75,000 amma, and therefore, the guy selling would have to add another square or whatever it is, however many of these boulders and holes in the ground that are 10 tfachim. As we're going to see in the Gemara, anything less than 10 tfachim is bottled to the play. It is counted with it. Why? Because they're small, so you can't start nitpicking. Oh, there's a little stone here, a little stone. You're talking about 3 football fields, and the guy's going to pick up a little stone. Obviously, that's bottled. Yeah, okay, you can't plant on it. I get it, but you have to be reasonable. Something serious, a 10 tfachim deep ditch. Now, how wide are these things? It doesn't say how wide, so the Rishbam tells us If they're 10 tefachim deep, but they have a 4 tefachim, they're 4 square tefachim, they're not part of it. Anything less than the 10 tefachim tall or deep, you do count it as part of the square footage, square amas. If a person tells him, he adds extra kuf. Kib-based kur offer, approximately. But he did say the word offer. If he didn't say the word offer, so that you get anything, whatever. It could be lakes and then mountains. But he said offer, but he said ki, approximately. So it changes slightly. Even 10 tall boulders are included. However, there's a big however here. How many? 5,000 of them. How many boulders? Maximum 4 kav. Okay? Every one of these boxes, every saw has how much? How many kav? Anybody remember? 6. Let's go back. We have to go back. We'll go back to the Iskalav. Every saw has 6. 6. You see the 6? The smack in the middle? Kav. Okay. 4 kav. Not a full box. Not a full box. 2/3 of a box. Here. We have a picture here. 2/3 of one box. That's the max. Even when the Mishnah says that when you the guy said ki-based kur, that could include boulders and pits or whatever you want to call them. You could include it, but up to a certain amount, up to 4 kaf. Okay. So holding by the Gemara. Not awesome. What we're going to do is we're going to see a very, very similar halacha by Hegdesh, but there's a little bit of a addition to that halacha, and then the Gemara is going to ask, does that halacha also apply to our Mishnah as well? To a sale. Over here, somebody's selling real estate, he's selling a field, it does not include ditches and boulders that are taller than that measure 10 tefachim. And we're going to see that when it comes to Hegdish, these ditches actually, they're not just ditches that are 10 tefachim, but they're ditches that have water in them. And the Gemara is going to ask, is that the same halacha by us that these ditches have water? So it goes like this. And these are one of these things, a lot of us are familiar with it, but if you're brand new to Daf Yomi, these are halachas that are in the Torah, but people are not very familiar with. It's kedai to repeat them. If a person inherits zchusim, he inherits a field from his forefathers who received it from Yeshua ben Nun. It was chalukas haaretz, and he goes ahead and he donates it to the Beis Hamikdash. If he doesn't redeem it, then it goes to the Kohanim. If he does redeem it, the Torah tells us there's a very, very specific amount of money you have to pay. Regardless if this piece of real estate is in the middle of Yerushalayim, in the old city of Yerushalayim, if it's in Tel Aviv, or if it's in Dimona, it doesn't matter. The price is one. There's one price. A very, very insignificant amount of money, in my opinion. Less than those days it was crazy, but I don't think. It's 50 shekel for 49 years. So if a person donated his field right on the first year of the Yovel, when is Yovel? Yovel is when most of Klal Yisrael is in Eretz Yisrael. Here, pasuk. Bim is de'achuzasi yagdish. A person has a de'achuz, he has a field, but it's achuzah. He got it from Yeshua ben Nun. Yagdish, he gives it to the Beis Hamikdash. Ish Lashem, v'ya erkechol lefi zaroi. It's also, you can see over here, zdei zaroi. It's a field that you plant. Zera choimer soirim. Choimer is a kur. Rabbi say the word choimer means kur. We know what a kur is. You have 75,000 amma. You have 3 football fields of a field. You pay the Beis Hamikdash 50 shekel kesef. 50 for 49 years. Shame it's not 49 for 49 years. That would make it simple. 1 shekel per year. Since it's 50 shekel. You hear? Tzaddik. Hello. You hear? I get insulted when you fall asleep on me. Okay, good. You're just thinking, good. So 50 shekel for 49 years. Every year is 1 shekel and a pudyon, which is a 49th of a shekel. So if you are trying to redeem your field 49 years before Yovel, you have to pay 50 shekel. If you're trying to redeem your field 1 year before Yovel, how much is it? 1 shekel and a pudyon. 2 years before Yovel, 2 shekel and 2 pudyon. Okay. So that's the halacha. It's a very cheap price, I think. 1 shekel for 75,000 square feet, square amma. It's much more than 75,000 square feet. Good few acres, 4, 5, 6. Some people say it's 7 acres. Now, it says like this. For 1 kur, 50 shekel kesef. 50 shekel. If there were little ditches in the ground that were 10 tfachim deep, or much like in our Mishnah, 10 tfachim tall, ein nimdadim ima daf kuf gimel amud aleph. They are not measured with the field. They are kadosh. Look, the guy was magdash it. You can't get away from that. He said it's the Beis Hamikdash, it's the Beis Hamikdash. Yet, when it comes to redeem it, the redemption of his shekel per year doesn't apply to those tall little boulders. So there's a pasuk here. The following pasuk is it the following? Yeah, the following pasuk says, "Im mishnas hayovel, yagdish sodeyu." Sodeyu. Why does it say sodeyu? The pasuk before says, "Ve'im is de'achuzase." We're talking about a field. What else is it? Im mishnas hayovel yagdish kercha yakom. So the word sodeyu is extra to teach us that it's the sada only is sada and not boulders. But if it's pachis mikan, something small, nimdadim ima. Okay, small things are included in it. This I didn't mention it throughout the thing. We throw it in here somehow. Shalom Shirabi, the Rishash, the Rishash of the Kabbalah. He says that if a person accepts upon himself a small Kabbalah, very small Kabbalah, even a small Kabbalah, then he's promised to be written in Sifrim Shel Tzadikim. So I was thinking about skipping the Kabbalah because it doesn't really work out for me usually, like everybody else. 2-3 weeks later and you're back to square one. It's like, hey, why go through the whole thing? No, you're Kabbalah, a small Kabbalah, that's what he says. Sifrim Shel Tzadikim. Okay? We're not there yet. We're going through the sugya. We're trying to achieve something, and then we're going to try to see if it applies to our sugya. The question is, why can't you redeem all these boulders you have in the field? They're not part of your redemption. They're kadosh. How are you going to redeem them? You're going to redeem them like you redeem anything else in Hegdish. Let's say I want to redeem a cow from Hegdish. Somebody donated a cow to Hegdish, and I want to buy it from Hegdish. So what do? I see what the value is, and I give Hegdish that value. If I see I have a bunch of boulders, I see what the value is of the boulders, and I give Hegdish that money. It might be more than the shekel. Most likely it's more. How are you going to get a bunch of real estate for less than a value of a shekel? Okay, let's say it's more. Let's say it's less. But the Gemara asks, why is it more or less? Good, so you don't want it in your field. You want a nice, pure, smooth field that you can plant corn. So do another cheshbon. Do a cheshbon of all the boulders and all the ditches, but all at the same rate, at 1 shekel and a pudyon per year.
It's independent though, not the shekel.
What?
Why is it not redeemed at all?
I don't think that's the question, because the Rishbam goes into saying, look, what are you going to gain?
You should have done them with those Bishop they have.
That's the Gemara's question?
Yeah. Why ignore it completely?
Because are you sure? Because the Rishbam was saying something about, it could be I'm wrong. I remember the Rishbam talking about that what are you going to gain? You're just going to gain that it's separate. It's separate. You don't have to deal with it. You could, somebody else can redeem it. Your brother can redeem it. Okay. Fine. We could go with your pshat if you want, if that's the real pshat. Who says that?
Right. But Mike is telling me.
No, look in the article for a second. What does the article say? Because I also learned the Rishbam. I learned different. Where are you? Let's see the Rishbam.
8 lines up in
Many raisins of them email, no, look at Rashi, the Rashbam, the Ramaz, Lishbab and Afshai. Mibam Afshai, she used to give those on a coin if they ask on the Lefi, Cheshbon, Beis Zerach, Zerach, says Mefurish. Kidins de Achuza, but Mike Tony and him doesn't match with Klal, and him Dushas Toyers de Achuza. Just dumb, right. Right, that's what I said. In the beginning, in the Havamina, it was Bishaveim. Now the, much like I said, the Gemara starts off saying that the field has, even the slime have Kedusha. I said right away, this is Kedusha. Why? Because I made it Kaddish. I said it's Hegdish. Just, it's not redeemed at the same rate. The flat field is going to be redeemed at a shekel. The other guys are going to be redeemed at their value like Kedusha's Damim. I said like a cow. I even said. Now the Gemara is asking, but why? It should be redeemed at the regular value of a field. Maybe separate, but regular. In other words, we'll have 2 redemptions here. One redemption for the flat field at how much? A shekel a year. And one redemption for all the boulders and all the ditches at a shekel a year. You decide if you want to take both. You only want to take one. But why does it lose its value? Why are you doing it based on Kedushas Damim, not on the special halacha of this pasuk of Zerach Chomer Soirim b'chamishim shekel kesef? By the way, just Zerach Chomer Soirim, what does that mean? The way they used to measure, they weren't measuring, there's different ways to measure. You can measure with a measuring tape. Say, okay, 75,000 square amma, you take a laser and or how large is the field that I could plant all these seeds? That's Zerach Chomer Soirim. It's a kur worth of seeds that you're planting. They go by a bag of seeds. This bag, that's how big the field is. Because I could take this bag and scatter it over 75,000 amma. Okay. Oh, so says the Gemara, Daf Kuf Gimel Amud Aleph, 2 lines down. Maybe you'll say that since it's not a full kur, it's not 75,000 amma, it's just a bunch of stones, so maybe it doesn't have the same kedusha as a large field, and therefore this special rate of a shekel a year doesn't apply. But that can't be. The pasuk says the word sada. I think I have the pasuk here. Here. 2 psukim later, let's say sada. Why does it say sada? Pasuk before says that it's a certain size, 75,000 amma. Maybe it's only because you were magdish a full kur. How do you know if I was magdish a half a kur, or a quarter of a kur? Saw. What's a saw? A 30th of a kur. There's 30 saw in a kur. Tarkav. Tarkav is a lashon of trei kav. 3, 2, and 1. How many kav do we have in one saw, Rabbi Isai? 6. So tarkav is a half of a saw. V'chatzi tarkav, or a quarter of a saw. How do I know that if I was magdish any amount, it becomes kadosh, and I redeem it for the same shekel and a pudyin a year? Any field, any size. Okay? So that teaches us that if you have boulders and you have ditches, they become kadosh regardless of the size and how much room they take up. Anything that you're magdish should be redeemed at the same rate of a shekel and a pudyin per year. Oh, here's the bomb. And does this bomb apply to our sugya? When it comes to Hegdish, these guys are full of water. Oh, I forgot to show you, sorry. If you want to know what a sela looks like, or a neka, here. Where it says, in Hegdish, it's full of water. It's not just a hole in the ground. It's a hole in the ground with water. What does that mean? You can't plant anything there. You can't get your plow in there. You can't sow it with seeds, nothing. The la b'nei Zriya ninu. Once it's not b'nei Zriya. And the pasuk tells us. Here, now we go back to this pasuk. Zdei, zaroi. I think these are the words. Maybe there's another pasuk that says it better. But it says it's a field of seeding it. It even tells you, zera chaymer soirim. You have to be able to plant the whole chaymer of barley. So Mela, this is not part of the field. This ditch that has water in it, it's not part of this calculation of a shekel and a pudyon per year. Daikanami, and I'll prove it to you. Duktani, do me the slime. The two words, the ditch and the boulder, are in the same sentence. If there's a ditch or a boulder, that means that they're equal. Duktani, do me the slime. Just like you cannot plant anything on a boulder, you have this thing sticking out of the ground, this tall. How are you going to plant on it? How are you going to get a plow on top of a little boulder? So too, the ditch in the ground is something you can't plant in. Shema mino. Ask the Gemara. By the way, I have a little surprise for everybody, because it's a fast day. We're only going until the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Ihachi. So, Rav Ukva Bar Chama taught us that the only time you get to redeem your field at a special rate of a shekel per year is when it's a field that you could plant on. If it's something you can't plant, like something that has water in it, no shekel. As the Gemara, so what do I care if it's 10 tefachim tall? Let's say it's 5 tefachim tall. Let's say it's this tall. How are you going to plant on a piece of cement that comes out of the ground? This wide, this tall. You're going to be able to plant? You can't plant on it. So if you can't plant on it, it should not be included in the shekel. Anything that you can plant is not included. So how are you going to plant on that? So what's the answer? No, Ari, you know the answer. What's the answer to such a question? It's bottle. Says the Gemara, it's bottle. Why? These are cracks in the ground. You're going to make a big deal out of a little hole in the ground. He's going to start, it's one inch is a hole? No. So what are 2 inches? No. Everything's bottle until it becomes a certain depth of 10 tvachim. Shidri da'ara mikru. I think it comes from the lotion of a spine. Chut hashedra. It's little bulges in the ground. There's nothing. That's not a boulder. It's a bulge in the ground. It's 1 tefach, 2 tvachim, 5 tvachim, until it reaches 10. 10, that's it. Atkan. Enough. I'm not moichel. That's already not bottle. And that's something that you can't plant on. You're right, you can't plant on something that's 3 tefachim, but that becomes bottle to the ground. And now the Gemara says, Hacha mai. What about in our sugya, in our Mishnah, when the Mishnah tells us that if there's a ditch in the ground that's 10 tefachim, it's not included in your 75,000 square almond 3 football fields. Is it with water or without water? What are we talking about over here? By Hegdish, we established it has to be with water in order not to be included. Could we say, what? Yeah, not to have its own shear. We're making an afkamina, something that you cannot plant, then it's something that's not redeemed at the special rate. But what about in a sale? When I sell you something, I sell you a piece of property, and it has a ditch that's 10 tefachim deep, even if it doesn't have any water, it's also not included, or dafka because it has water and I can't plant it, that's why it's not included. In our Mishnah, you don't have to include water. There's no water included. My timer. A person doesn't want to buy a field where it seems like it's 3 different fields. Every 10 minutes he has to readjust his plow, right? In America, you put this tractor on autopilot, the lasers, the radar, the GPS systems, and it just goes for hours. Who knows? 10 miles straight. Then he gets there and he turns around again. He's gonna start picking up his plow, moving it around this stone, and go weiter, pick it up again, move the bull this way. It ruins the whole thing. You want to just go. You don't want shnayim shleishim b'kaymas. So when it comes to real estate, we're working with different things. Even if there's no water, that's not what I purchased. I had in mind to buy something that I could just, like every other farmer, he just goes. I don't want to start messing around with my plow. This idea of continuity, rutzifos, what?
The field he bought, that he needs to add onto the field this part which has a pit.
What?
He bought a baseball. It has a hole, it has a pit in the field. He needs to make the baseball bigger, but the pit stays there.
Of course the pit stays there. Of
plow
course,
still can't go.
but he's not paying for it.
Plow still can't go.
Okay, but he gets extra dirt for that. That's not what he bought. You can't move a boulder. You're not going to start moving boulders. The point is, it's not included in the sale. It's not included in the sale. When you have a ditch that's 10 tefachim deep, he's going to have to make it up. The owner, the guy that sold it, he's going to have to make it up. So, as a side note, I was thinking about this on Rosh Hashana. This idea of continuity. I told some of my friends, I felt really bad on Rosh Hashana. Some of you might have shared this with me, and some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. But on Rosh Hashana, I was busy thinking about what in the world is going on in Lebanon. Did they attack Iran? Well, what's going on? I need to know. I had this desire to know what's going on in the news. Did any chaylim, this, that, what's going on? It's like the constant, you get the updates. Every half hour, ding ding, it rings. Your phone rings, and you take a look. Ooh, there's nothing. I owe the guy money. Okay, fine. But this is schmack, good piece of news, a good picture. And then think to myself that me personally, I'm not talking about anybody else. When I'm able to turn the device off for long, or even on Shabbos, the learning is different. It's continuous. You start and you go. There's no emails, no WhatsApps, no nothing, no phone calls. It's a whole different world. You accomplish so much more. To stop and go every 10 minutes, some people every 2 minutes, every 30 seconds, whatever it is. It's noirevayim. It stops your learning. It stops your concentration. And it bothered me that it bothered me. And it got much worse since October 7th for me. I got to know what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. Are they doing okay? Are they capturing? Oh, they killed another head guy. And the head of the head, the guy that replaced the guy that replaced, they got him too. Boom. Is his name Hashem or his name Hashem? I don't know what. They killed him again. Next. Weiter. It's unbelievable. It mamish ruins the continuity. We got to do something about this. The guy, my friends who try to see and they see that my phone is off, there's a reason. It's so hard to concentrate. Just to get back into it. Okay, you see this? Okay, now where was I? Okay. Anyway, fine. Person doesn't want Shnaim Shleishim Mekaymes. It breaks it up. It's not good. Maskal Erevina. V'dumi the Slime Katani. So Nachama, you wrap up as saying that our sugi is different. You don't need water. Even without water, there's no continuity. It's not included in the sale. V'dumi the Slime Katani. But it's in the same sentence as slime. The ditches and the boulders are in the same sentence. Ma sloy in the Lebanese Rianino, the same story that we said a second ago. Just like you cannot plant on a boulder, so too, the ditches. So l'chayra, our mission is talking about a ditch that has water. It has to be something you cannot plant in. How do you not plant in something if it's full of water, like we said by Hegdish? So the Gemara says something very interesting. You're right. It was a good diuk. You're trying to learn that just like a sela is something you cannot plant on, so too a ditch is something you can't plant on. You're right. You're correct. But it's almost in the reverse of what you thought. You're right. Our mission is talking about water. But on the opposite case, the case where the ditch is very short, it's a small little ditch of 5 tfachim, even if it has water, it's still bottled to the ground. It's still bottled. The water doesn't ruin it. If I carry it, we're trying to say a chiddush. You're right. You're saying, oh, it seems like it has water. Yes, that's what the Mishnah is trying to tell us. It has water, and even so, even though it has water, it's bottled to the field. Next sugya. I gotta point out that all these sheets that you're about to see, and even the ones that we saw already, Yoshi did them Motzei Shabbos after. Here, I'll just show you this. It's not Hegdish. If it doesn't have water, it's bottled to. It's part of it. You redeem it at one shekel and a pudyin a year. If it has water, no. But in the regular stuff, just in real estate, you don't need water. Even without water, you can't redeem it if it's 10. It's not included in the sale if it's 10 tfachim. Okay. Zok de'ele Gimar. Omar Rabbi Yitzchak. Troshim, these stones, these boulders, Shamru, base arbas kavim. So, arba kavim Rabboisai. Here, let me show you. Let's go to this arba kavim. Here we go. Every box has 6 kav. So 4 kav. That equals 2.2% of the entire property. When you sell a property, you're allowed to sell it with 2.2% no good. Remember we said that if you sell fruits, vegetables, you're allowed like 10% waste. In real estate, 2.2%. Says Omer Avukva. But it has to be here that the 4%, the 2.2% is within 5 kav, within like the 3% of the area. Let's call it. So check this out. Now, just to point something out here, if you take these 4 kav, which are in one saw, take 4 kav, divide each one of the kavs into 4. 4 times 4 is how much? 16. So here, let's see how we did it. Take a look at this. Look how these 4 kav turn into 16 stones. Okay? You have 16 stones. That's the Rashbam says. You take the 4 kav, break them up, each kav into 4. So you have 4 times 4, you have 16 boulders. Check this out. The 16 boulders should be on the roiv of the field. Okay? You have 30 saw. How much is half of 30? 15, right? 15 times 2 is 30. The majority of 30 is 16. So make sure that your stones are spread on the majority of the property. It would be nice to see 1 stone per every saw. Like this, you have 16 stones on 16 boxes, 16 saw out of 30 saw. And the purple is the minority of the field, which is only 14 saw. Okay. So now we have a typical teiku kind of case. We don't know. Ruban b'miuta u'miuta beruba mau. We have 2 majorities here, Rabbi Yisai. We have the majority of the field, which is all the blue boxes, and the purple boxes are the minority. We also have the stones, the 16 stones can be divided into 2 parts, a majority of stones and minority of stones. How many stones would be a majority of 16? 9. So what if I take 9 stones and put them, the majority of the stones, put them in the minority of the property? Ari, I see you like it. You have 9 stones in the 14 in the purple, and 7 stones in the blue. That's Mar Shaila. Yeah? Understood?
This is to be bottle it or to be mechanic?
You don't understand?
I'm lost.
If you're lost, then Hashem Yirachim, then 95% of the people are lost. Our Baal Kishrin, the lawyer, is lost.
And the day still in 16 squares.
What? No.
Is this
The Gemara says that you need 16 stones in the majority of the field on the blue side, and the blue. So Gemara asks, what if you take not 16 stones, but the majority of the 16, and put them on the minority of the property, which is 9 stones of the majority of the stones. There's 2 majorities and 2 minorities. There's the majority of the property, the blue and the purple. The blue is the majority, the purple is the minority. And then the stones, the 16, you have the Reuv, the 9, and the 7. Comprise 16 stones. You take Reuv stones, 9 stones, and put them in the limud of the property. Put them in a small area of the property. It doesn't have to be dafka if you broke up the property like this. Break up the property any way you want, but the point is you're putting a lot of stones in a small part of the property, and some of the stones in a large part of the property. Does that also work?
Does this work? Does it work to be bottle this sale or work to be mechanics? Is it good or bad?
That's bottled to the sale, bottled to the field. Up to 4 kav is bottled. What are you saying, Mina?
Picture's not correct.
Not correct. Okay, why?
Over here, there's still 16 stones and 16 squares. It's the same as it was before.
Yeah. No, but it's in a no.
But the question is that the minority of the stones, meaning 9 out of them, are not in 9 squares, they're in 7 squares. And then at the end of the day, you don't have 16 squares.
That's what it is. 9 stones and 14 squares.
Squares with 16 stones.
Are you saying that it has to be more condensed?
Some of them you have to have 2 stones.
Okay, I hear.
At the end of the day, you don't have 16 squares.
Good point. So you're saying, okay, so we could change. I don't know if you can change it. Are you able to change? And the purple side, we'll just go like that. On the purple side, take 2 stones, put them in a box. Take a bunch of 2s, put a bunch of boxes with 2 stones. You able to do that? We'll come back to it soon. Some of the purple boxes put 2 of the stones in the same box. It's not 1 per saw. It's
All you have to do is remove 2, and then you have only 14 squares. It's mute of the saw. That was 14 out of 30.
Yeah.
But most of the stones.
It could only be 1 color. Just combine 17 boxes.
1 color and just a bunch of stones in boxes. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, good. I warned you. It's Motzei Shabbos stuff. Boy Rabbi Yirmiyah. Kashir Mahu. So, again, a Teiku Shayla. What if the stones are positioned, you have the pictures in the art scroll and this, but this is color. What if the stones are positioned in a bracelet kind of shape, in other words, in a circle? The question is, now it's much harder for the plow to plow through if everything was lined up nice and neatly. So I go straight. Once in a while I have to make it. Over here, I don't know when I have to turn. I don't know when I have to go around. It messes me up. Typically speaking, you can see in the Rashbam, he has a bunch of boxes. Let's say, how many boxes are here? 30 boxes. The point is that the way they would plow is they would plow north-south, and when they were done, they would plow east-west. They do a Shesi Ve'erev. Now, it's very difficult to do Shesi Ve'erev when you have stones all like in odd shapes. And as the Rashbam says, we build up the question as we go along. It gets worse and worse. Kishura Ma'u. This is worse than the one before. Here we go. This is a rectangle shaped field. What if the stones are laid out in a way that I could go east-west, but I can't go north-south because there's a big wall basically that prevents me? That's another question. Akalosoin mahu. Sorry, it's tadinin mahu. Tadinin is the lashon of stadion, which is stadium. In those days, they used to do bullfighting, so it's referring to the horns of a bull. What if it looks something similar to this? This is not very good either. What was that? That's your picture? There's too many stones. Whatever. The point is, maybe one of those has less stones on them. Once again, it's not even a wall through, it's two walls. It also has this weird, it juts out this way, that way. So now it's very difficult to plow. So akalasa in English is zigzag. Oh, mao, sorry. Derech akalasa mao. What if it's a zigzag, something like this? I found out here, first of all, you have to see how this morphs. It's interesting. Okay? It's an M, or upside down W, but it's a zigzag. In Hebrew, you know how you say zigzag in Hebrew? Zigzag. So, just wanted to tell you. Zechariah, you knew about this? You have a Hebrew art scroll?
Yeah.
See if it says zigzag. I doubt it says it there, but it'd be funny if it said.
Yeah, it does. Zigzag.
Zigzug, okay. B'kitzer, once again, this is a tougher way to plow. Mao teiku.
Zigzag.
Zigzag it says? Gewaldig. In the bottom, not in the top. Yeah. Tana. Ema yasela yichidi afilu kol shehu ein nimdad imo. Oh, sponsors. Who said it? The new guy? Oh, you're not a new guy. Shalom, what's your name? Moshe Zev Schechter. From where? Don't tell me Lakewood. Seagate. I don't know if we ever had a guest from Seagate. Did we have a guest from Seagate? Next MDYer. Seagate, gewaldige place. Gewaldig. Oh, here. Avremi Yishkoyach. Something like this. Okay, fine. It could be the same color, but then we're not going to press it to do that. Okay, gewaldig. Whoever's doing the edit today should stick this in. So, listen to the Shaila. Not so much the Shaila. In Mayasela Yechidi, we said that a boulder is bottled to the land. So this is not such a great chiddush, I don't think. But if there's a boulder that's outside of the border, you see over here, the border is over here, the brown line, and there's a boulder, this is a boulder. It's on the other side of the field. So, a boulder is bottled, so let me be a cheverman and let me start measuring from the boulder. I'll add a little bit to my field. No, that doesn't work. Even a small boulder, not included. If it was inside, take a look at the chart for a second. The stone is already inside your core. Even a smaller stone, it's not part of it. I'll give you a mashal. We have, the koilel, all koilim do this once in a while. We tell the guys, if you learn b'ritzifus, learn 3 hours without any batala, you get a bonus, 200 shekel. Yeah, once in a while. So, if a guy goes to the bathroom in the middle of Seder, is that considered breaking the ritzifus? No. You can go to the bathroom in the middle, and he still gets his 200 shekel. But what if a guy shows up at 9 o'clock and goes to the bathroom? And he starts to Seder at 9:10. That doesn't count. Because you can't start on the wrong, you can't take the break first and then start from there. That doesn't work. You can't start from a stone. A stone in the middle, that's fine. It's bottle. But to start off from a stone, no. Das geht nicht. Emails is fakert. Sometimes some say it's even more, I don't want to say, but it's part and parcel. And you weren't here on Yontif. I already told somebody. Some guy made a joke about the emails. He's up now, Baruch Hashem. He's on his phone. So I told him what happened to the last guy that made fun of the emails. He got thrown out of the shir. Well, not really. He got thrown off the WhatsApp group because he made fun of the emails on the WhatsApp group. And once he got baleidik, then he left the shir. We don't want to. We need the Rosh Hashana to stay. Zog the Gemara. You ruined my Kabbalah. You ruined my Kabbalah. I said my Kabbalah was I was going to be nice to people this year. And it's already one day in.
Very nice. He says he's supposed to Kabbalah, you actually have a chance.
Start small. Small Kabbalahs.
What are you doing?
My Kabbalah is from 3:30 to 4:30. I'm going to be nice to people. That's usually when I sleep. Not in the morning, but pick the morning shit. Okay. Boyer, sponsors. Sponsors. We got the Shachar sponsors. We're only going to the Mishnah. The Belsky family, Rabbi Yisai. If you look at the back of your chairs, it says, what does it say, Rebavi? What does it say in the back of the chair? That's right. So the Belsky family, in memory of Simcha Beryl David, Olav Shalom ben Avram Moshe, and by connotation they'll see. No, my Yalgo Reuven Iris Herssein official should be zchusim for Akiva Simcha ben Feigo. A shidduch for Yudis Bas Yafachaya. Thank you to Reuven Stefansky. Should be zchusim for a year filled with Mazel Broch Hatzlocha Parnos Berevach and Refuah. We're almost done, Rabbis. Almost done. Boy Rapapa, Mufsuk offer Bintai Mao. Look at this beautiful chart he did. You see the boulder? What if there's dirt? It's close to the border, but not really. It's 2.5 tfachim away. We know there's a halach of lavad. Anything within 3 tfachim is as if it's closed off. It's there. So maybe the boulder's on the border. Teiku. Boy Ravashi, offer milamata, v'tzum milamala. If there's dirt, he had a nice thing here. I don't know. I guess it's for this. Here, I can just show you real quickly because we're not in a rush. If there's, wow, we have to go because it's I forgot. Okay, if there's dirt on the bottom and this boulder's on top of the field, or off of milamala, there's dirt on top of the boulder, and this is all on the border of the field. Mahu, is it part of the field? Not part of the field. Teiku, Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.